disconnected. Not too sure what's going on, but welcome back, guys. I don't know what's going on with my internet connectivity over here, but it got disconnected the first time I tried to stream. It was going off and on. But welcome everybody to Late Night Crypto Watch, again, providing a place for people just to gather around and kind of shiver and curl up in a fetal position because Bitcoin is doing some shenanigans again. Of course, right up front here is a disclaimer. None of this is financial information. If you would like to seek professional help, please do so because I am not a professional trader. Don't know much about investing. Just want to get together, have some great conversations. No topics are off limits here. We can talk about guns and knives. If you know my channel, I do just about everything. Gun reviews, knife reviews. We're going to have a look at what went on in the NFL today. So whatever you feel like talking about as we watch what crypto is going through right now, feel free to throw it out there. But let's have a look at the market again. Down a little bit from 2.2 trillion, down from 2.1. Bitcoin dominance at 40.6%, getting a little bit higher, and ETH is at 21.1%. 21. As you can see, the topic for today is we're going to have another go at Bitcoin being deflationary, and some as well as some of the other cryptocurrencies. So let me give it a stab again. I think I really messed it up. I didn't do a clear job or as good as a job as I thought I could. But basically, when you look at what Bitcoin was at, let's say 2013, it was probably about $111. So here's what deflationary means, right? Whatever you're purchasing with, its power increases. Right now we're inflationary, right? Everything's inflated. Our dollar isn't going very far. But if you look at buying a house, let's say $350,000 way back in 2013 when Bitcoin was around $110, $111, you could buy a house for right around, let's just say 3,200 Bitcoin, right? 3,200 Bitcoin, 2013 would have bought you a house. Now, you would just need around 8, right? So now, what's going on with I don't know what's happening. I'm getting stabbed with my connection. I'm going to wait a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. The demand, right? Is this popular? Is it not popular? Is that the whole thing about it being used or not? So the whole, oh man, look at that. Guys, I hope you got your limit orders in. Bitcoin is probably down to about 45.8 right now. Man, that's looking pretty good. Like you want to buy some. I do have some. I'll get back to the deflation stuff. A lot of people want it. A lot of people are using it, and it's more. And it's a set amount. That's the other thing. So it's very popular. The demand is high. The inventory is small, and it's getting smaller and smaller. And by 2022, the fundamentals of it that we got to watch. All right. So if some of those things change, like if for whatever reason people stop using Bitcoin and they're trying to sell it, the demand's going to go down. The inventory is going to increase. Then we got to have a quick or close look at it. But as of right now, even though Bitcoin is where it is right now, it's still largely deflationary. That's why a lot of people are still going to get into it. So those are the things I wanted to say. I think having that illustration in the mind about how much Bitcoin it took to buy a house in 2013 versus now is a good way of explaining how deflationary it is. And little bit of a difference there. I think tomorrow's video might be the difference between actual technical analysis and like a fundamental analysis, which I don't know much about TA. It takes a lot of I just find it boring, even though I know it's very important. I do believe in technical analysis and it does do a lot of benefits, but I think from where I'm coming from, I just want to see what the benefit of is, whatever it is we're investing in, the project, what their track record is. If you think they're going to mean it's going to be popular. And then of course, what comes lower, just like with Bitcoin, that is prime time for deflationary project like Bitcoin. Now, others like Ethereum, they have burning for so many days or something like that. That's also what makes it very good as far as being deflationary. It was 46 and now it's at 45, and I'm almost willing to not like pull my limit orders at 45 and maybe just skip down to 44 because I think that's what's happening. It's just slowly coming down, and some people a little bit freaked out. But that's why we're here, just to give it a look, just to keep buying, put a little bit at a time. Just DOS collar average in, DOS dollar cost average in, and you should be fine. And I'm already waiting for this thing. I'm prepared for it to last months, and for me, the longer the better. And of course, the same thing has been happening. If you check it out, the Dow over here, the futures market. Let me read you what it here. Dow futures slide more than 500 points as market worries mount, and it's the same stuff, right? It's the same stuff that's freaking everybody out. It's the whole Federal Reserve announcing it's tapering off of bonds and its interest hike, three hikes over the next year, starting March, April. So that's still freaking out, and of course, COVID is still hanging around. I don't even know what the update about that is. The last I heard is that it is pretty much it's very infectious, but it's not as serious. But I can see how that's freaking people out. Still, I mean, it is, we're still kind of in the pandemic. So those are still the main two things that are holding us back. But yeah, so the Dow's futures down by 500. Here's another thing on adoption, though. Speaking of Bitcoin, this happened, I think, on December 17th. I got this from cryptosrus.com. That's George's channel. So Japan, this company called the SBI Group is making their first cryptocurrency asset fund, which to me looks very similar to I Trust Capital, which my phone call is going to happen in just a few hours. I can't wait to see what the I Trust Capital guys have to say. But it looks like Japan is now having something very similar, which is their funds will have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Chainlink, and Polkadot. Yeah, it's a good combination. So Japan now is going to have like a 401k for their citizens. 401k, or well, technically, cryptocurrency asset fund. All right, guys, welcome on in. Again, just providing a place for people to gather, to huddle together and cry, and look to see what Bitcoin is doing. And everything is down right now, which is fine because, I mean, Ethereum's still hanging in there. Normally, when you see Bitcoin this low, it's down at the 36s and 35s. So, like, okay, went from going from Aaron Rodgers and then making an absolute slop fest out there for Tom. I kind of felt bad for the guy because all of his Evans was out, Godwin went out. Of course, Antonio Brown's doing his situation with the whole COVID thing. Oh well, yeah, the Australian firearm. So I think New Zealand is like that too, right? I remember hearing something about New Zealand having very similar gun control out there. I think everybody should have the right to own the firearms that they want to. I don't know if it's similar to Hawaii, because Hawaii, well, it's not really a ban. Can they own fire? No, I think it's a total ban. I remember when New Zealand did it, it was a full semi-automatic rifle ban, and you to defend your home, and why a handgun is not sufficient over toilet, whatever it is that you want to own. I will say this, and I've gotten a lot of flack for this over the past couple of years. It is necessary to do that. I can also see it from the standpoint potentially. I don't think firearm registry should be necessary. I don't know if the Australian government is doing that, but I think it's a total ban on firearms out there. But you should be able to own whatever you want if you demonstrate that you are, competent to do it. If you can display that you are, competent enough to own a firearm, then you should absolutely be able to own whatever you want. We're all adults here, and I'm in the camp where I think of a firearm as just a tool, like a hammer or axe. It's just sitting there until somebody picks it up and decides to use it. So I don't really like any really type of firearm control. I unfortunately also think, though, however, the answer is somewhere in between, where it's a give and take, right? It can't be all the way on the left and it can't be all the way on the right. Again, I think the answer's in the middle. I hate to say that the answer's in the middle, but of course it is. But I think everybody should take a firearms class. So the reason I became an NRA instructor is because I could see people struggling. And when I'm out here now in Vegas, when I'm out at the range, or even when I'm out at the desert shooting, I mean, I've almost been shot a couple of times out in the desert because people aren't following basic firearm safety. And even people that were born and raised around it, it just takes one little lapse for you to harm somebody or harm yourself if you haven't taken those classes. Even though I took the class, there was one time I was shooting at the range back in Hawaii where I had my first squib load. Right, so it was in my 1911. I was shooting my hand reloads. I squeezed off the round and I heard a bolt. It wasn't like a pack. It was a bolt, real muted. Smoke came out of the back, and I knew what a squib load was because it's in the safety class, but I'd never experienced one. And I didn't see that my slide was slightly out of battery. It was just boom, right? It probably what happened was I had loaded around with just the primer, not the powder, so the primer is enough just to push the bullet out into the barrel. Luckily, my friend was next to me. He's like, "Wait, don't shoot. Check out the chamber." So sure enough, I turned it sideways. Like I turned my body sideways, so I kept my muzzle pointed down range. And sure enough, again, oh my goodness, and that's why. So I don't support gun ban. I think you should, but I do think that you should demonstrate that you know how to handle the farm, just like you are. And the other thing that, like, somebody stabbing something like that, right? Whatever. But yeah, don't really think that gun control out there in Australia. Um, all right, guys, about to wrap it up here. Maybe we can get a slow bleed down to 44, pick up just a little bit more. But that's what it's been doing just for reconnecting and connecting. I can't wait to see what the finished video is going to land out, fundamental analysis, which is where